to form what is now this MIBR squad is so promising. But again, they just need to break through that glass ceiling. We're hoping they would do that in the online area versus Furia. Did not quite happen. Again, Furia adapted very quickly indeed, as they often do. But this is such an interesting matchup. I wish this was a best of 5, honestly. These two teams, I think this is a great matchup with the tools that both these teams have. So I'm super curious for this one. Gabby, my favorite player in South America. Naomi holding things down in... Oh, Vilga, she's caught out in the middle of nowhere, running out of the bullets there, making it a 3-on-2. No one in the pit now for the CTs, and this retake's going to be very difficult. The T's turn to have that crossfire, as we've got two coming in from that long library area for Ninjas. They try to retake control of this bomb site. Poppins gets popped in that pit. And that will be a retake secured then for Ninjas in Pajamas.
Vilga and Naomi do a great job of slowing things down, and even though Vilga does kind of get caught in no man's land with no bullets, she had done a ton of damage to like multiple players, so she can call that and say, all right, I've like peppered them, you know, they're really low, they're 1, and all you have to do is a little bit of cleanup. So it works out very well for her. She loses her life, but she helps the team secure the round, much the same with Naomi. An important one for them. But of course, MIBR with the bomb plant means that they've got that extra bit of cash available to them. We'll see if they can use that to pivot themselves. This could be a really dangerous round. You've got 2 MAC-10s, 2 Tech-9s, plus a Galil. So there's a lot of explosive power here. And of course, South American teams, explosion is sort of the name of the game.
Stockholm was a very rich environment for this young NIP team to learn from. So I'm very curious to see what lessons they have learned and how that plays out on the server. But also, like Vilga's previous team and how she used to play, especially on the T side, very aggressively, often around Banana. I'm curious to see if that looks the same now or if there are other people picking up those reins and she's doing something else. But I know that she very much has a good read for the game on Inferno and is always ready to take some decisive action. That'll come later, of course, as they're on the CT side, waiting for MIBR to make their play. See a smoke on the roof, so there will be a gap from what they had in mind here. Ramzin waiting for someone to show their head, but have a look at that swing from Danny. She didn't see anything, and then she was decapitated. This becomes very awkward then for NIP. 3-on-4 retake. They've got some tools to isolate some fights, but even if they put like a smoke towards the pit or something, they will still need to clean that area out if they are to secure this round. This is very awkward for them indeed. Phil got stuck by the truck at the moment, and there is nothing doing. I didn't see anything else happening, honestly, with the positions they had on that retake and how many Ts were still alive. They were kind of doomed at that point.
I think a lot of that comes off of MIBR going, util, whatever. And they just run straight through it. They took so much damage on that exec, running through mollies and whatever else was being thrown at them. They're so dangerously low. And NIP are kind of hoping, okay, we've thrown down this utility. That should maybe slow them down a little bit, give us time to rotate in. MIBR are like, nah, nothing doing. Get in onto the site quick as you like. And that will be a full economic reset, which, of course, after that first round, MIBR couldn't have asked for better.
Even though one of their smokes for the MIBR squad didn't go in the right place, the flashbangs were on point, which allowed them to take out Ramzin at close quarters. And we see shenanigans now for NIP with a smoke at the bottom of mid. Nothing really doing though. Again, such a good matchup. Deserving of a big series. But hey, perhaps we'll get that later on. For now, it is the best of 1. So painful on the CT side when you win the pistol, lose the anti-force buy, then force buy and lose. It just puts you in the bin, waist high, just standing in the bin.
Yeah, the force was high risk, high reward, I guess, but I feel like the risk really does outweigh so much because, as you said, right, they're going to have very little into that next round. and it does put them in a very uncomfortable position. Whereas MIBR, you know, the previous round they kept 4 alive. This round they'll keep 4 alive again. So their reinvests are really small, if at all. I mean, look at how much utility they still have left, right? So you just kind of topping up a little bit. You're not putting a lot of money into these following rounds. So with NIP not keeping it nearly as expensive as they kind of need to, it just continues to perpetually be an issue. But on the other side of this round, there is a light. There is possibility. They'll have a buy back in hand and they can start to claw their way back into it. But for MIBR, I mean, look at how much cash they have after tipping out, you know, filling up, essentially. Just getting the util back up to 100, making sure everybody's got a good gun, and they're still absolutely loaded.
Yeah, this has given MIBR all kinds of momentum at the beginning of this one. I found it very hard to decide who I thought had an advantage in this one. I was kind of leaning a little bit towards MIBR, which is kind of easy to say now, although Vilga has something to say about this as well. And with the smoke down by the Ts, that allows the CTs to collect those rifles. Very hard for the Ts to do anything about it at that point, though. But they don't have the positions to kind of take control of A at the same time either. So this is just so awkward. There's no really good spot for MIBR right now. Look at the numbers up towards top mid as well. All in plan. Told you Vilga on Banana was dangerous. Didn't even get to that T side just yet. So Qiyarah has been dropped.
All right.
There's still 2 rifles here, though, for these CTs. And they've left that smoke up on Banana. Oh, Vilga's... I think she went over to collect a smoke grenade from a teammate. Still showing presence towards B. Look at the time on the clock as well. This could mean dire straits. They're going to peak top mid. They're going to peak top mid, and they've got that rotation coming in. I told you, Vilga loves herself some Inferno. Has she bought herself enough time, though? I think it's Naomi. She can go for a spray through the smoke. She can run distraction. Everyone's looking the wrong way as Vilga just kills them more time now, and they've desperately got to get this bomb planted. Naomi has a chance to stop it. They'll get all the frags at the very least. Again, that was crucial timing. That rotation, I think, to collect utility and having the teammates spray from CT, everybody looking in the different directions. Wonderful work. Nothing is guaranteed in this match.
I mean, that round is Vilga from start to finish. And okay, you might call a little bit of talent bias there, but it is. She starts off the round with a double kill, which allows them to pick up 2 rifles. And then she has the presence of mind to make sure that she's got a bit of util because she knows the potential for a re-hit is there. The smoke buys her so much time to reposition, to get into like a cheeky ratty spot. And she again continues to buy time for those rotations to come in. It is a massive round from the IGL. And, you know, we kind of look towards more of that as this goes on. But now we look to see what is the response from MIBR, because, of course, I mentioned that they had all the cash they could possibly need after rebuying into that round. So they're still going to have a buy into this one. We're going to have a proper rifle round now. And there's a moment of respite, a moment to just kind of talk through this, because MIBR perhaps need to figure out what that game plan is going to be. Or maybe you just need a moment to recover from how ridiculously that round kicked off, to just kind of keep your head in the game a little bit and not allow yourself to start stressing about such a small thing.
I feel like one of the maps where Vilga is at her absolute best is Inferno. Just the way she moves through the map and the things I mentioned before. And maybe we're seeing teasers of that. Again, it's not just the individual play, but the spatial awareness, as I also mentioned. And I think we saw some of that. And I think to be able to give that wisdom to this particular set of girls on her team is great for all concerned. Really a fun team to watch in Ninjas in Pyjamas, but of course, MIBR are another team we also get excited about covering the South American region. Wonderful talent on this team. Again, both teams fighting tooth and nail early in this best of one. So, banana presence taken, and also the Ts have presence in the apartments towards A as well. Pretty good start for a default. Very good map control with a minute 10 on the clock. Leaves it, makes it difficult for the CTs to know where to put their personnel. Top mid has not been taken though. You can see MIP ready for a rotation of a third person towards B should it be required. There'll be a slow creep which suddenly gets more urgent. Will they be in position to deliver some util, some flashes maybe, as Vilga will be traded. Naomi trying to do what she can. Qiyarah dropped as well. So it is retake time. Naomi still with an angle. Got to be real careful though. 3 versus 4. Do they throw everything at this or do they slowly back off? Rams in post up with AWP. Okay, 3 on 3, but again, there's so much work to be done. Do they call it there? I think they have to. Suicide mission to try and retake this B bomb site. And it will be Rams in only to escape this round for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Another expensive one for them as MIBR take the lead once more.
Keeping this so back and forth is going to cause some serious issues economically if it continues on this streak. For MIBR, obviously they came into this with still quite a bit of cash left over, so that's not going to be the hugest concern in the world. But, you know, if Ninjas in Pyjamas win the next round, things start to look very, very stressful in that department for both teams. I do love how MIBR take advantage of the fact that Ninjas in Pyjamas playing very dynamic. So we see them take some, you know, slightly more aggressive banana control this time around. They're playing a little bit more passive. They're playing back towards site. You know, they don't want to become too telegraphed. And MIBR are like, all right, well, if you're going to give us the space, we'll have it, thanks. They're able to push in onto the site quite nicely. Good little set of util that allows Gabby to get that double kill. Bomb's planted, and at that point, what really more is there to do? Kind of slowly hemorrhaging CT players. MIBR will grab another round for themselves. And now Ninjas in Pyjamas in another tight spot.
This is where Ramsin needs to come alive. And Inferno especially, it's a special map where you've got a hero AWP and you more or less do. You want a 5 versus 4 early if you can find one. So this is where I would look to Ramsin to get some work done. Vilga and Naomi have taken heavy damage at the beginning of this round. Trying to secure something on Banana. And now we've got that orb creeping as well, but again, MIBR, the match is just so good. You're not going to get an orb angle for free. You see those mollies coming in over the wall. But Ramsin's still trying to creep, although she is being waited for. But so many T's cross the angle first. Younger doesn't get a chance to see. That timing was absolutely brutal. Surely she was done for there, Ramsin. But just a busy line of MIBR players heading towards top Banana. That's a frustrating one.
I love the rotation as well. They were 3 strong B, they get that kill, they're like, it's probably a rotation, so they reinforce A. But this is such a good read from Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Ramsin's creeping as well, although I don't know at what point you call that rotation of the 4th person towards A, because you don't know what's around the half wall, etc. But here they come, stuck, all bunched up together. Qiyarah, Naomi, and Mia will take care of them. That was a frustrating round for MIBR. Too many players in front of the AWP on Banana. They're all bunched up, not quite making it onto the A bomb site either. And that might be a sigh of relief for NIP. A bit of space to breathe. That was an unfortunate round from the MIBR point of view. I don't think there's much you can do about that Banana situation. It's just one of those things, but, you know, it did somewhat cripple their plans there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you were right. I think that Ramsin's probably done for if Younger has that line, and it is just that really unfortunate timing. Looked a little bit like a dance, you know, everybody crossing the stage.
It was brutal. She was waiting for that play to be made. Yeah. She was just sitting there waiting for it.
And again, just a really good read in that round for where they needed to reinforce the site after getting that first kill, knowing, all right, they're unlikely to continue to push this. Let's move our forces back over towards A and make sure that, you know, if they have rotated, we've got bodies and we've got people to hold the line. And it's perfect. It's a spray down, and it brings us once again to an even kilter. Round for round, MIBR finally looking a bit worse for wear in the economy department, but Ninjas in Pajamas not comfortable either. You still got
Hold on a
Vilgar and
second.
AP9.
Keep an eye on the T's here. There was so much ordnance thrown down Banana. I wonder if... I'm thinking MIBR have a read as to how many players there were over towards B, and they've got a chance to seize some map control towards A. That's exactly what they're trying to do, but it isn't working in their favor. Do they still have the numbers to trade these positions, though, as Mia is creeping around the bomb site, becoming quite the problem now as Goddess goes down to the AWP in the clutch, switching to the M4. 1 versus 2, trying to do what she can, but the NIP players keep on coming. There were 4 players towards Banana at the beginning of that round. You could see they understood how many grenades and other crap was being thrown down. They were like, these guys are all on Banana. We can try and charge towards A, and still NIP were able to somehow hold on.
A lot of util used by MIBR as well, and almost feels like they were trying to pull something. Like, all right, there's bodies here. We'll make it look like we're going to fight this and then see if they rotate over. But Mia, the last hope of UK Counter-Strike, absolutely massive on the bomb site there, and allows that rotation to come through. And for the first time, round 8, MIBR onto an eco round. Ninjas in Pajamas firmly back in the driving seat. But I love how back and forth it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what we expected with these 2 lineups. Naomi is in need of help, though. They've opened the right door here. I don't think she survives this situation. Can she delay for long enough? Maybe she can. Oh, the flash was coming in there, but just a little too late. Question of damage now for Poppins. How much more can she do? All kinds of junk coming her way. No bomb plants, at least. They denied a bomb plant, which is a lot of money that the T's would otherwise have. So that is a plus for NIP. 3-2-5. There's been so much action. I feel like I'm in the second half already.
I know, right? This is another one of those scenarios, a bit like the Fast and the Furious, but apparently this must be the sequel. We're seeing similar crazy aggression round after round, and I think that Poppins, there's a chance for her to get another, but obviously as the HE explodes, there's like a bloom of dust and you can't really see anything. That's a miss, Molly. That's okay. Throw the smoke up. Nobody saw.
Poppins finds a way. You can have the map control. That 5v4 is worth a lot more with the time on the clock, 1:30. And again, it'll be a lot of weight on Vilga's shoulders now as she tries to control this Banana situation. A pot flash, but no AWP fired, no information. And that can sometimes be what it's about. Tries to bait a response, but Ramzin, arguably the tallest person in Scandinavia, does not fire a shot. And that late resurgence, as you can see, she's having a look down mid and seeing absolutely nothing. So it has to be the B bomb site. There's a small chance it could be apartments, but you'd want someone to deliver the flashbangs as well. No rotation just yet, though. Vilga falling back to the B bomb site. She has an incendiary, which will only buy so much time. Qiyarah on the way also, but she's got no util to offer, no flashbang as Vilga falls back to the site. It'll just have to be the gun, and she's there like the cavalry, just in time. Keeps Vilga alive, allows more rotation. This is done so well by NIP. That was a nasty little burst from Vilga, which leaves Gabby and Younger with not much to do. The bomb's been lost at the front of the B bomb site. If they still had that, at least, then the rotation would be on.
That's a beautiful coordination between the players as well. Like, communication on point. Vilga had taken an aggressive position into Banana, and a little bit later, she'd already kind of rotated back, but a Molotov came through from MIBR to flush that because they realized it had been a long time. So Vilga's like, all right, cool, there's a bit of utility there. There's a possibility that they're going to push this. She holds on to that Molotov. She throws it a little bit late on that, and one of the players is able to slip past. And the fact that she's able to pull out her gun, still get that kill, slip away into the night, give the information over to Qiyarah. As soon as she realized that something was happening, Qiyarah has already started to rotate. They can set up a crossfire in the perfect nick of time. A flash is thrown out, so Vilga is able to follow up on that. Like, it's perfect symphony. All the pieces just fall into place, and MIBR get completely overwhelmed. It's beautiful to watch.
I think Vilga's worth her weight in gold when it comes to Inferno and Banana. And you can see the read for the game is just so strong. I was actually on a gun range recently that was invaded by a chicken.
What?
Yeah, literally. I think I put it on my CSGO channel. No, but we had to abort the shooting until it buggered off to wherever it came from.
Damn, that's crazy.
3-6 in favor of the Ninjas. That HE deserved more, damn it. Now, is a take of mid on the cards for MIBR. Ramzin forced off her angle, forced out of the apartments. That's a lot of map control lost in a very short space of time. And look at this wrap around long as well. There are so many women on road here. Where are they headed, though? Ramzin's got some good angles here. As she will fall, they can pick up the slack with the other player in that pit position, but Naomi has been left. Oh, that's a nasty frag from her. 1 versus 2. How does she solve this issue? She could make some space for herself with the smoke grenade, but she'll go for the HE first. Unsolvable at that point. Gabby delivering the goods, and MIBR keep it close.
It's a bit of a weird one, it feels like, in terms of how much space was just given over. I know, obviously, banana control is the big thing on Inferno, but to have played so far back towards the library, I think a big part of that is obviously how much damage Ramzin took early on in apartment. So she's forced to fall back. The fact that she survives there is pretty big, but because she's forced to reposition, that really throws a lot of their overall positioning kind of out of whack.
Yeah, the fact they lost position in apartments and all of mid at the same time was brutal. It's not just the frags with the AWP, though. You have to look at the mid to late rounds where Ramzin has been creeping up towards top mid, getting that information which allows them to rotate towards B and have that help for Vilga when they need it. Also very important. Classic info play late round on Inferno when you've got an AWP towards A, often up short. A 3-2 setup for NIP in round 11 then. Oh dear, what happened there?
Huh.
Team kill.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate timing for MIBR. Heading towards 40 seconds. And there is a long smoke for now, but that'll soon be gone, and Qiyarah is hiding behind it. Ramzin spotting one. There is rifle support as well on the other side, so MIBR could be dismantled here like pieces of Lego. Have a look at that. Mia, the queen of beans, dropping Danny in the apartments, and that is a relatively clean round here for Ninjas in Pajamas.
The queen of beans. Yeah, a bit of an odd one. Obviously the smoke is up and maybe that's causing some chaos. You're kind of spraying through hoping you're going to catch an enemy, and maybe the comms weren't as clean as they needed to be. I don't know, but that is not the way you want to kick off that round, and everything just kind of falls apart after that. Last round and a half now for MIBR. Very little in the tank to make this a 5th for them, so staring down the barrel of a 4-8 half.
Ramzin's got to fall back. Oh, again, the rifle support is here. Perfect bait. Now give her the space to re-emerge as well. Mia keeping control of the pit. NIP have got the numbers to secure this. Good angles as well. Mia wide swinging around that molly. And here they come for a very strong retake before that bomb's even planted. 8-4 at halftime. NIP lead by 4.
Yo con lo mío quiero gozar. Dale pa' acá, dale pa' allá. Se prendió la fiesta, se prendió la fiesta. Yo quiero esta noche gozar. Yo quiero gozar. Gózatelo una vez más, solo una vez más. Yo quiero con lo mío bailar. Echa pa' acá, echa pa' allá, bebé. Este ritmo está como es. No te despistes que es lo que vine con mi pana, con mi catamara, mi dominicana, colombiana y venezolana. ¿Dónde están las mexicanas? Muévelo, muévelo, no veo a mi boricua. Sacúdelo, oh, 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 oh. El ambiente está fresco, el ritmo lo siento. Aquí se prendió el party, vente a mover el esqueleto. Yo quiero gozar. Pa' librar los fines, pásame un shot que cobra estos chiles. La paso bien gastando los miles. Con mi combo no te metas, la familia no se toca, se respeta. Con mi combo no te metas, la familia no se toca, se respeta. Aquí estamos todos happy, la rutina siempre contra mí. Me relajo, cero estrés aquí. Vente a la fiesta, vente al party, vente al party. Los carros en la calle suenan pi, pi, pi. La pasamos bonito y el juego siempre puesto en la TV. Goza, quiero gozar, goza. Vívetela, vívela, vívete, vívela. Hoy solo quiero disfrutar, la vida disfruta. Vente para mí, deja la pena, déjala, déjala, deja la pena, déjala, déjala, deja la pena. Vente pa' acá, vente pa' acá, pa' acá. Echa pa' allá, pa' acá, pa' acá, pa' allá, acá.
We return to Inferno, where Ninjas in Pyjamas lead by 4. I think Vilga on the CT side was instrumental in some of those B holds. I mean, again, like history will show you how good she is on that banana position. Also can be very dominant on the T side, which is more what I was talking about, really. And maybe we will see that unless MIBR have something to say about that. I don't know that the score tells the whole story here if you're joining us late, because it does feel like a well matched up fight here. MIBR versus NIP. Map choice was a surprise to some. And MIBR, well, we'll see if they can come back. Poppins has got 2 guns, but no headshots to her name, unfortunately. Had a rough one in the first pistol round, and the same will be true here, as here come Ninjas in Pyjamas. Remainder of MIBR nowhere to be seen. Vilga playing silly buggers, hiding second mid, looking to cut off these rotations with her Glock. So far, so good. Very good is Vilga. That will leave Gabby versus 5. Trying to isolate the fights, but there are just too many girls on road.
5 alive. Very well done there. Very rough pistol. Uncharacteristic, I feel like, for Poppins to have the dualies and to just not get anything. It felt like one of those moments where your brain just kind of, you see 2 people, you split the difference. Perhaps she was a little bit flustered, getting overrun by so many players, but unfortunately in a situation like that, you can't really afford to be flustered. So unfortunately, that's going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas getting this second pistol, if I remember correctly, and MIBR now looking to replicate the forced win.
A nice combo. However, the CTs are still standing, still running down Banana, still causing problems. The first half was very back and forth of the early rounds. A lot of low health MIBR players here. Bomb still in the hands of NIP. Qiyarah's on long, so she can deny that rotation. One half of the Ninjas in Pyjamas twins. I was watching her stream the other day, actually. Learned some new grenades for myself. We had the pleasure of watching some matches at the last Impact Finals in Stockholm with the whole NIP squad, which are a really fun team to have a chat with.
It's always nice to get to chat with the players themselves. I feel like, you know, we get to do the interviews during the regular season, but it's fairly limited in how much we can talk to them and how much we can ask them. And, you know, it's dependent on whether you win, because we don't generally interview those that lose a series. So it's really cool to have those opportunities to hang out with the players and get their insight and get their understanding into the scene and into their own team and all of the other teams that are involved. Oh, all right, Danny. Very nice. We'll take that every day of the week. So a 3-person save there, 2 MP9s and 1 rifle. So they'll be feeling not great about how that round went, but I think that was one of their best case scenarios. The problem is that now 6-round deficit, double digits for Ninjas in Pyjamas. This is where MIBR really needs to step up. Unfortunately, it's starting to look like a foregone conclusion. And even with those saved weapons, how much can they get done?
Yeah, I think bearing in mind it's the best of one, so you've got mad vetoes to do. Inferno may be one that they end up regretting, picking that into NIP. I'm not sure how much they'll get to play it after this if it continues in this way. I would imagine that the vetoes are going to come flying in versus other teams, depending on how confident they feel, of course. Got to believe in your own game.
It's a big kill from Mia.
Okay, we've got some trades. We have some trades. Hold on a second. Gabby with 12 HP. Close enough to be shoulder to shoulder. They will deal with the threat and eliminate. Ninjas in Pyjamas having a very good showing of themselves at the beginning of this tournament. Their first game is promising so far. We've seen some good comeback attempts already. Let's see what MIBR have in them now. Younger will have the AWP. Plenty of utility on the rest of the squad. Gabby's very strong on the CT side. That's why I became such a fan of her play in the first place. But how much opportunity will she have to show that in this half? NIP's turn to have a lightning fast round, taking long in seconds. Look at this execute. The timing at which these smokes are going down is beautiful. Younger barely gets to fire her rifle. Poppins is on an island, and that island is sinking fast.
You mentioned how scary Vilga is on T side, and well, calling a phenomenal game on the CT side, and that just continues here on the T side.
I don't know what's left here in this round for MIBR. I don't think I'll be standing at the end of this one. It's a tough decision to call it, but really, they had like, what, 7% chance there? Very frustrating situation for them, but NIP were gliding into that bomb site. Frictionless round from them.
Mia had a really slow start to the map, it felt like, but she's really picked up here, particularly kind of towards the second half. I think she's sitting at 14 and 9 at the moment. So she's really like picked up massively. And I was asked to please glaze the UK CS contingent, so, you know, she's glazing herself right now, just showing what a fantastic performer she can be.
Queen of beans, man.
Queen of the beans.
Ask her about her food cupboard.
I don't want to, that sounds scary.
Younger just hasn't got the engine going. She hasn't been allowed to by NIP. The confidence, the growth we've seen in this game from previous NIP plays is kind of what we were looking for. So far, so good in that regard, but this round is not done just yet. Those confidence plays bode well for the future, though. The team of ducklings at the last LAN, being led by Vilga. Definitely grown since then. Gabby holding down the bomb site for now. Last two steaming through. Now they should go for the frag, so she try and hold position for the retake. The teammates are on the way up banana as Naomi is clearing the church area. Bit of pre-fight from Gabby. Very nice snap from her. And the cavalry is here indeed. MIBR are not done with this one just yet.
Giving themselves a bit of a stay of execution here. And what a time to do it. On match point, give themselves a little bit of breathing room. But, I mean, this is just step one of so many steps that are still required. And we've seen some really good comebacks, right? We had an 11-1 earlier today that got incredibly close. So it certainly feels like it's doable, but when a team is already on match point, that pressure continues to mount, continues to be a problem. And it's not like in the first half where winning a round gets you basically a broken economy for your opponent. We've had so many successive rounds for Ninjas in Pajamas that it's not going to be a huge issue for them into this next round. They're still going to be comfortable. They're still going to be feeling confident. And for MIBR, every single round has to be perfect. They can't afford to make a misstep. And I feel like that round, a lot of it came down to punishment, where, you know, Ninja Pajamas a little bit out of position, maybe not where they need to be, maybe not watching the angles they need to be, feeling like really confident, and Gabby takes advantage of that with a couple of really like aggressive swings, of course, but that feels like an outlier. And actually, color me wrong, they've kept these rounds so close that in fact this is a Tech 9 round. Like, this is certainly doable.
I've got to give 10 points to the Observer for showing us the rescued AWP at the end of that round. I see you, well done. If they can execute, there are executes where you can win the round. You can design a round for these Tech 9s on Inferno, absolutely. And they have a lot of utility as well. This might be a good spot, though, for Younger to dismantle such a play. Because I feel like if you're coming out of the balcony towards A with some smokes and flashes, charging with Tech 9s, you can zip them up quite quickly. However, MIBR may be well positioned to deal with this, but you gotta land your shot. Younger may only get one opportunity. My blood pressure is rising.
Brother, tell me about it.
Oh, they've gone out of the boiler instead. Mia will get dropped, but Goddess is holding things down for the time being, as is Younger. Nice work. That really went the other way, like the fire exit. I wanted the main entrance.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. And as you said, right, like the tension that just continues to build, and credit where it's due to MIBR for not kind of freaking out, not getting in their own heads, not feeling like, oh, well, we're not seeing anything, so we need to do something crazy. They stand their ground, and that really does bode well for them. Now, Ninjas Pajamas, still not a full buy round, but we've upgraded from Tech 9s to Mac 10s, and this remains a scary proposition.
Well, this could be a full send. Is there time to land this HE grenade? I'll do a little damage, it'll slow them down, but we do have a triangle of death here from the CT side. MIBR being careful not to over-rotate as NIP hit the brakes. Now, do they just cut noise and go again? Or do they use the clock? They have 2 smokes and a HE left. No flashes. But good map control, good presence towards Banana. And Naomi can still ask questions with one of those 2 smokes later on. They can use this time to understand how much information the CT side might have, as now they bolster defenses towards A. Here we go. Numbers game. Will anybody make it to the bomb site? Off the balcony like lemmings. Get your Game Boy Advance out. Naomi will be the last one to fall as MIBR move to 7.
This is getting very stressful, I feel like. For anyone who's an MIBR fan, and even for me, because I'll admit I got a little bit of bias, because they were one of the teams we followed throughout the regular season. But the tension is mounting, and you can see that even Ninjas in Pajamas are starting to feel that tension a little bit here. Maybe not to a massive extent, because they know that they've still got a big lead, and it's just one round that they need to win. But they are losing quite a few rounds here, and they can't really afford to lose too many more, but that's the perfect opener. Danny taken out.
Battle AWP on the T side is what you want on Inferno. Can't be passive. Got to get in there and bite people's faces off.
Graphic.
Problems for MIBR now. Ramzin will be dropped though on Banana. Naomi still there. Not for long, however. MIBR stabilizing, finding a confidence on their CT side. Now scrambling back towards A. Poppins is in the apartments, not hearing much of anything though. But for now, it's guesswork for the CTs. Almost caught rotating. What is the read of the info? Qiyarah spots 1 rotating back towards A. I think Mia might have a sound cue there towards the pit. If she has an idea that Poppins is to her lower right, well, never mind. Poppins is quietly rotated. Feels like a stalemate, which is about to change in dramatic fashion. 3 remain for NIP. Such a hard choke point to push through. Potential crossfires. Goddess tagged to 11 HP. Younger with the angles, 30 seconds on the clock. Qiyarah desperately waiting for someone to show themselves. Finding Younger. Numbers are even now. Poppins has played her hand. She'll get traded. 20 seconds to get this bomb planted. And where's that last player? Gabby in the clutch. So strong on the CT side. Beautiful commitment to that frag onto Qiyarah. Down to the 1v1. Onto the pistols. You can't quite find it. And of course, it's Vilga to get that last frag as NIP take the game.
Oh, what a way to end it as well. I mean, what a beautiful recovery in that round. It was looking like MIBR were going to give themselves more room to play with, more potential to bring us into that overtime. But they slow it down. Ninjas in